Welcome back to the Middle of Culture. I'm one of your hosts, Eden.
And I'm your other host, Peter. That was almost my turn to just totally space out that I was supposed to be talking. So,
you know, this is what happened before we started recording, listeners. We both said, okay, I am recording. And then there was a long silence as Peter was expecting me to start because it's my week and I was dissociating, let's say. It's that time of year. It's that time of century. It's that time of human era. But here we are.
It is.
Anyway, what you been up to, Peter?
True. Working. Was on call this week. Things were busy, but not terrible. I will say a lot of real bad cancer talks the last couple of weeks, and that sucks.
That's not fun.
Like, just tough calls, having to give people bad news, and in part frustrating because some of these people should have been given this news by other providers who had seen them.
Oh, that really sucks.
Yeah, the longer I'm in medicine, the more I realize there are a lot of people in medicine who are really bad at just having the guts to have those kind of conversations with people. And so somebody's got to, so I did.
Well, that sucks.
But, other than that, hanging in there. How about you guys?
I mean, it sucks. It sucks to live in this country. It sucks to work in the field that I work in. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Yay. It sucks. It really sucks.
It really sucks.
Like, I have had to, at least for the time being, I can't pay attention to news. I get news alerts on my phone. I'm turning those off. I get emails. I am deleting them without opening them. I can't right now. I can't.
I'm trying to do that where I can, but I feel like I have to stay at least somewhat informed.
Yeah.
And
I don't blame you.
My partner sent me a thing, a few days ago that was like, this is a stochastic terrorism plan of like deluging you with everything and doing as much as humanly possible, literally all the time. And that is designed to overwhelm and demoralize you. And guess what? It is both overwhelming and demoralizing. So all that you can do is like pick a few things and be like, this is what I can work on. This is what I can focus on. This is what I can stay on top of. This is what I can look for in my community ways to help people. I can't do everything. I can't stop. Yep. I can't stop a South African fucking fascist asshole, white supremacist from taking over Treasury. But I can help the immigrants and trans folks in my community and getting involved in my community and working on mutual aid and doing those sorts of things. So that is where I'm at.
No, that's all we can do.
It's literally all we can do. Anyway, to talk about hopefully lighter things, what you been up to, what you been watching or listening to or reading or what?
Still working on Mistborn. I had a swim meet over in Boise last weekend. And so on the drive and everything, I finished Mistborn Secret History. Mistborn Secret History is a novella that was published between the third and fourth books of Mistborn Era 2. It is a story of what happens to Kelsier, who is one of the main characters in Mistborn, The Final Empire, the first book, who spoilers, people who haven't read Mistborn, The Final Empire from 18 years ago, Kelsier dies at the end of the first book. And Mistborn Secret History is basically what happens to Kelsier after he dies. And he transitions to the cognitive realm, and that's only supposed to be a brief thing. And because he's stubborn, he does not transition to the beyond. He remains in the cognitive realm. And then it's all the things that Kelsier is doing and things that are happening to him in the cognitive realm that tie into what are happening in Mistborn, the Well of Ascension, and the Hero of Ages, and then a little bit that gives you hints as to some things that take place later on. And it was really interesting to go back and read it again. It came out, and it had been many years since I read the original Mistborn trilogy, hence my reread this year. And so when I read Mistborn Secret History, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't really like all the different ways it tied into that original trilogy. Those things were not fresh enough in my mind that I really was enjoying it. And so it was a lot of fun to read it in this close of proximity to those other books where they're all fresh. And so everything that was happening, it was like, yeah, okay, this is cool. I got it. And then I started the final Mistborn book that is currently published, The Lost Metal, and am enjoying that so far. And then I kind of didn't read this week because then I started going on a whole, and I know we've had this conversation before on the pod, but I just started spiraling down a bit of a rabbit hole of self-improvement and optimizing things. And I bought...
It's one of the things you can change.
I've become a sicko. I have these lovely plotter notebooks, which are made in Japan. They're beautiful leather. They're ringed, so I can take the pages out and move them around and then refill them. I don't like the idea personally of buying, the moleskin notebooks that everybody likes and all that stuff, because I don't like having stacks of those afterwards, but I have found that I am a bit of a sicko for some good pens. And so, I'm liking my Studio Neat Mark Ones and my Baron Fig, Squires. And and then, like I say, getting refills for my plotter notebooks and stuff like that, and spending time just sitting there with a book in hand and just writing and like brainstorming. And I've gone through a whole tools audit, so it was kind of what software and what hardware do I use and what purpose is it serving? And I've given away a few things this last week because I'm like, these don't fit anymore. And so it's like, okay, who can I give crap to and stuff like that. So, been doing that, revamping my task management system a little bit in terms of getting more granular with my projects and my areas and my tags and stuff like that. Just, I don't know, in a way to kind of help me. Here's the thing. My life is very structured to a point. I have clinic, I have surgeries. My schedule depends on the schedule of others who have requested or have agreed to spend some time with me, whether it's in clinic or again in surgery. And then outside of that, there's a lot less structure. And so I'm trying to improve the structure to that. And I think it is kind of what you alluded to, the chaos that is happening in the world around me. I feel that this is me trying to diminish the chaos within my own life.
That's super fair. I have to say,
but you held up.
No, I love a notebook. I hate a notebook with rings or wires. I hate it. It's got to be bound. I need it bound. I need it to have a spine. Okay. And that's how I like a notebook. So I have for years used like a yearly like planner or whatever. For a few years, it was my Golden Girls planners that I had. I still have one of those. Yes. But last year I bought this one, this purple, beautiful little like Moleskine style one, but not from Moleskine. I do love the
color.
This is made by Lady Access with only one S. Why? I don't know, but that's the name of the company. And I really, really liked it. It was really good. It worked a lot. It had a lot of pages in the back where I could like note down, what books I'd read and what movies I'd watched and what games I'd played. This was how I could keep track of how many books I ended up reading last year, which was 230 when it was all said and done.
That's impressive.
And that was, I could keep it all here. And so I was like, I'm just going to buy another one of these this year. So I got it this year. I got my 2025 copy. I got a different color, so it's cute on the shelf next to the other one. And they changed a bunch of stuff.
What?
And like a lot of it, it's like, why did you do that? Like, so it used to be that it would have like the month calendar and then the weeks of that month and then the next month's calendar and the weeks of that month, like you would normally do. With this one, they put all of the months at the beginning and then it's just the weeks throughout. And it's like, okay, that's not a big deal. They also changed it in the 2024 setting. Week started on Monday. In this new
Sure.
one, the week starts on Sunday. So I've had to reconfigure the way that I think about how it's laid out on the page because my
Yeah.
work week starts in the second box instead of the first box. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
that is odd that they made those kinds of changes in
And
between the years.
there's just a lot less just like empty pages to fill up with stuff. So I'm not bothering to write down some of the stuff. Like I'm not noting games I play or movies I watch because there will not be enough room for all of the books that I read. So
Yeah.
I'm annoyed at the little changes that they made, and I think that every single one of them to a one is worse than last year's version, and that's weird to me. That's really weird.
That is really odd.
And it's kind of frustrating
Well, like I
because
say,
then I'm like, okay, next year maybe I'll try a different brand. Maybe you just got me off the train, Lady Access 1S.
they're losing you.
They might be.
Other things that I've been into, again, it hasn't been much time to watch any TV, haven't seen any movies, have not jumped back into God of War since a couple weekends ago. But what I have been listening to an awful lot of is some new music. The new music to me, there's one album that's fairly new, and that is the newest album from the Great Old Ones, Kadath. Love the Great Old Ones, black and death metal. All of it is it's Lovecraftian. It is, I mean, not like inspired. It is straight up Lovecraftian. I mean, the title of the songs on the album, Me the Dreamer, Those from Ulthar, In the Mouth of Madness, Under the Sign of Koth, The Gathering, Leng, and Astral Void. I mean, it is just straight up that stuff. So dig them. Cool to have new great old ones. But then the one that I really, really have been digging into is there is a Belgian band, Marche Funèbre, Funeral March, and they had a release in 2024. And I happened to just watch some YouTube video when people were doing their albums of the year. After the Storm was their album that came out, and they're sort of in that doom death genre. And I liked that, and then for some reason was just like, oh, let me look at their other albums. And they got like 5, 6 other albums previous to this one. And so I started diving into their previous work, and I love it. It's just been, again, don't know what it is, something about the death doom genre, something about that just, there is a release that just comes with listening, and to me at least, in dark music. One of the songs that's really been clicking, I love the song, but just so people the chorus of the song is, when will my eyes close forever? When will my blood stop streaming? When will my heart beat no more? When will my breath be gone? For some reason, that kind of stuff is just really, it's working for me these days. So,
Fair.
been listening to a lot of Marche de Funèbre and really digging them. Cool band. And that's really about it for me. What about you?
Here's a question for you. So you said that one band is basically doing Lovecraftian black metal. Are you a
Yes.
Lovecraft person? Do you like Lovecraft? Do you like Lovecraftian
Um,
stuff? Do you like actual Lovecraft stories? Where are you at on him?
I kind of do. I know that for some time in his life, Lovecraft was a racist, but I did read a number of things where he, later on in his life, sounds like he sort of turned a corner and said that he was wrong and that he was a bad person when he was like that. So I'll give him that pass on that.
Sure.
I do. The thing I like about Lovecraft stuff is I'm not a horror fan. Really.
Okay.
I don't like horror movies. I don't like very much horror stuff. And the thing that I do like about Lovecraft stuff is that much of it, at least a lot of it, the stuff that I have read, which is admittedly not a ton, but the stuff that I've read is much more kind of an existential dread sort of situation where you're not, it's not bad things are happening. It's people are going crazy because they have seen beyond. They have seen things that are bigger and unknowable, and that, I don't know why, that kind of that works for me a little bit more. So I wouldn't say I'm a big Lovecraft fan, but that is the kind of, again, horror, using the term loosely. That's the only kind of horror that really I am okay with.
That makes a lot of sense. I mostly ask because there's a Japanese mangaka named Go Tanabe that has done a bunch of adaptations of Lovecraft stories. He's got an In the Mountains of Madness adaptation. He's got the Shadows over Innsmouth, I think is the
Yep,
name of it. And at
it
least
is.
one other one as well. And I've never read them because I've never really been a Lovecraft person. I The thing about Lovecraft is I think he's got really interesting and cool ideas, but his prose is not very good. And so
Hmm.
it takes me right out, and I don't like necessarily reading his stuff for that reason. And so I've always been like, tangentially interested in looking at these Gotanabe manga, but I never have. But anyway, it was just a thought that popped into my brain.
Interesting. Yeah, it'd be worth checking out.
Yeah. Let's see. What have I been up to? Despite or besides dissociating in existential dread, like I'm a Lovecraft protagonist. Uh, I've tried and failed to play a bunch of games in the last couple of weeks, where I like play an hour or two, and then I'm just like, it's not doing it for me. And I don't know if I'm just in a mode where I'm not gaming moded right now, and like no game's gonna catch
Yeah.
me, or if I just have not found the right game yet. I'm almost to the point at a suggestion from a friend. I think I'm probably going to re-sign up for Game Pass so that I can play that new Indiana Jones game because my friend
Okay.
Darren says it's one of the greatest games he's ever played. Um, and
High praise.
I like machine games. I thought their Wolfenstein games were quite fun. And it's satisfying to punch a Nazi. So
Oh, always.
maybe that's exactly what I need right now. But I haven't yet. What I did try was I played about 10 hours of the Bandai Namco RPG Scarlet Nexus, and
Okay.
it was fine, is how I was feeling about it. But the story wasn't really catching me. Like, I didn't really give a shit about any of the characters. And the combat was kind of mid. So it was hard for me to get too excited about it if I'm
Sure.
neither connecting to the characters nor the combat. And then I made the mistake of going and reading the Wikipedia summary to be like, does this story ever go anywhere? And it doesn't. So I stopped. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Uninstall. And then, I had mentioned it on the pod a year or two ago. I played the game Remnant from the Ashes, which is
Yeah.
the Souls like with guns. Um,
Hmm.
and I remember liking it pretty okay. I had a good enough time.
You spoke highly enough about it that I bought it, and I think I bought the sequel at some point when it was on sale.
It was
Because
an,
I
a
think I
humble
had heard,
choice.
I think I had heard for some reason in my head, people liked the first and thought that the second was better in some ways. So that's why I was like, sure.
Yeah.
You talked highly about the first, and people on the internet were like, oh, the second was better. So I think I grabbed them both. I have not played either.
I'm not going to judge. But I did boot up Remnant 2 and I played a few hours. And the same sort of thing happened where it wasn't really quite grabbing me. And I went and I looked at I was rereading the Wikipedia page for Remnant 1 because I needed to remember the
Sure.
storyline of what happened in this game I played 2 years ago. That it's a Souls-like in the storytelling too. It's kind of loosey-goosey with the story that it's telling you. It's not super straightforward telling you what you want to know.
Gotcha.
So then I clicked through and I read the Remnant 2 one. And the thing that I think would be interesting about it is that it sure feels like it was built for multiplayer. Because when you start the game, it sends you to one of three worlds. And you will not see the other two worlds unless you either A, play the game multiple times, or B, are jumping into other people's games and seeing the worlds that they're being sent to. And so I understand why you do that. You do it to encourage people to play multiplayer or to replay the game.
Right.
I'm largely, with some exceptions, especially when it comes to a game like this, a one and done kind of person. I only want to play this game
Yep.
one time. I don't want to play it 3 times to see that. This is what has stopped me from ever actually getting that far into the Nier games, because I know with both Nier and Nier Automata, you got to play that game like 5 times to see the whole story. And that
Right.
sounds miserable. I don't want to play the game
I
more
agree.
than once. And that alone has kept me from ever really playing either of those games. So once I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm good. And I just uninstalled Remnant 2 as well. Yeah, so it has been a rough one for me. I have not really found anything that has found my attention outside of like, let me log into these terrible free-to-play gotchas I play and grind out my dailies for 10 minutes and then move on to the next one. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I will say the new patch in Infinity Nikki dropped, which has a totally new map called the Firework Isles, and you get a new outfit that makes it so you can shoot fireworks. It's very good.
There you go.
The whole second, not the whole second half, but the whole second part of the map, the last like act of the new story stuff, you have to go up into the air and jump around from hot air balloon to hot air balloon, or you fall to your death. It's very exciting.
Cool.
So that's kind of been it as far as gaming has gone. But in terms of other stuff, I've been reading a fair amount. I have read a lot of comics since I chatted with you last, as one does when you are trying to keep the demons at bay.
I mean, again, it's all you can do.
It's all you can do. I got all the way caught up with She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat, which the volume 5 came out this last week. It was very exciting. It finally, the manga in English is finally passing the point where season 2 of the show ended. Like,
Okay.
the two women have moved in together. They found their apartment. They kissed. Now we're moving on. And so we're finally to some new content. And I'm really excited about that, to see where that book goes, because I just think that it is really, really good. But I also, as I was purchasing it, because I think I explained a little bit how the problems with Diamond Comics distribution. Have I talked about that on this podcast at all?
It sounds familiar to me.
I think we did. And we talked about how Diamond has been a mess and they remain a mess. They haven't shipped a Yen Press book in like 4 or 5 months at this point. They just declared bankruptcy, so this is not getting any better.
Yeah, that is a bad sign.
Yeah, no, it is. And like, this used to be the place that had a monopoly, and then they blew it, lost their monopoly, and now they're probably going to go out of business. So sucks to be Diamond. But so that meant I needed to get She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat somewhere else, because the comic store couldn't order it in for me because they're not shipping Yen Press books. So I was on the Bald Devil's website buying it there, and I saw that they had the 10-volume Nichijou box set on sale for $60. 10 volumes of manga for $60. That's a steal. So of course I had to buy it. I had never read Nichijou. I only was familiar with it from people I know who have either read the comic or watched the show and said, like, it is an all-timer. But I was really unfamiliar with what it was, and was wholly unprepared for it. Nichijou is a phrase in Japanese that literally means ordinary life. And so in theory, this is a slice of life book, just a bunch of teens having a normal life. I mean, this is a very common genre. There's lots of slice of life stories out there. And then I pull out the first volume and I take it to work and I'm reading it in between. Like, I'd finished all my tasks and I was just kind of waiting until I had to go to a meeting in the next 15 minutes or whatever. So I'm just reading it in my cubicle in the office or whatever. And it's maybe the funniest thing I've ever read in my life, Peter.
Seriously.
I started laughing so hard last Wednesday as I was sitting in my cubicle that it made me start to sob. And one of my coworkers walked over and was like, "Ian, are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help you out?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. This is just so funny." And I don't know what it is. It's genuinely maybe the funniest comic I've ever read in my life. And it is just about these kids in school in this weird it's not even that weird of a high school. They're the weirdos. This high school is pretty normal, but they're just bizarre. And the things that they do are just wild. And the way that it paces itself with panel choices and repetition of just weird reaction faces and he uses like different art styles for the reaction faces based on what's happening in the comic. It's really stunning. I've really never read anything like it. And I knew that they had made a TV show of it too. And so I downloaded the TV show the other day and threw it on my Plex server. And so when I was at lunch yesterday, I just booted it up on my phone and I was like, I'm sitting in this, I'm sitting at this diner by myself, waiting for my lunch, doing my lunch break while I'm at the comic shop. No one else is here. I'm going to just watch this show. And they nailed it. It is the show adapts like 1-to-1 stuff out of that first volume of manga and adds the wrinkles of it being a motion picture, of this being like embodied through time. So I am not making the choices of how long do I dwell on a panel like you do when you're reading a comic. They're making the choices of how long do we dwell on these things. And they've nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. I am thrilled to watch more of this show because it is so stupid.
That's fun.
It's really incredible. Don't be surprised if and don't look into it more, because one of these days I might be like, you know what? Maybe we need to watch a few episodes of this. So,
I mean, that would be a great way to get me to do it.
I would be and I don't know if it is just the perfect vertex between my comedic sensibilities and this, creator's ideas. I don't know if other people would find it as funny as I do. I know that a bunch of people in a Discord I'm in do, because that's why all of them were like, oh, you're going to have a delightful time working your way through Nichijou. And I have. I almost finished book 7. I got these on Wednesday, and I'm almost done with book 7 already, because I'm cruising through these suckers. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm having a delightful time with Nichijou, and I think the show might have the sauce. It's very, very funny.
Cool.
And I think that's about it. Oh, the other thing. Here's the other thing. Did we talk about TikTok last time we recorded? Yeah, I think it was right before the TikTok ban happened, right?
Yeah, it was.
So listeners might not know, TikTok was like one of my favorite social medias. It was not a thing I posted to very often, but it was a thing that I spent a fair amount of time scrolling through. Like, I liked TikTok a lot. And then they put out their big thing about, we're shutting down, but President Trump might save us. And then the next day, like 16 hours later, they were like, we're back because President Trump saved us.
Mm-hmm.
But the vibes are bad. The vibe is off on TikTok. Like, they have clearly made some choices during that downtime, and the algorithm is not working the way it used to. The types of content that is being foisted upon you has really taken a rightward revanchist slant. And so I was like, no, fuck this, actually. Fuck you. And I deleted TikTok. So it joined the graveyard alongside Instagram and Facebook, which I deleted my accounts from those, not just the apps. I was like, no, Mark Zuckerberg, you're dead to me. You will not have my account anymore. But that left a gaping hole in my heart for short form vertical scrolling video. So I did what so many other people have done. Baby, I'm red note pilled.
Oh no.
I'm ready. I'm all over Xiaohongshu these days, baby. I've been watching so many videos on Xiaohongshu. I've been learning so much. And just like watching weird videos of them making food. I've stumbled somehow onto all of the queer content coming out of China. And it's been delightful. I'm having a great time. But it has made me think to myself, man, I got to increase my repertoire of like Asian foods that I can make at home. And so this morning, after grocery shopping, as part of grocery shopping, I was like, we got a fairly good-sized Asian grocer here in town. I should just go. And so I went over, and it was a delightful time. I bought so much weird shit that I'm very excited to report back on in the next few weeks.
Nice.
Like, I didn't really know until recently there's a difference between light soy sauce and dark soy sauce, because I just had soy sauce.
Right, whatever.
And the soy sauce you have is light soy sauce. It's not dark soy sauce. If you just have regular Kiko Man that you bought at your regular grocery store, that's just light soy sauce. But dark soy sauce is a lot less salty and has a different, like sweeter, more complex flavor, and is often used for like adding color to a dish. So you'll be adding both light and dark soy sauce. And I was like, man, I should find a place to buy some dark soy sauce. And I knew I would get it at the Asian grocer. So I got some of that. They had a bunch of like little single serving of like different pickled vegetables. So I was like, give me one of each of these. I got to try all of these. And one of the big things, again, this is from hanging out on Red Note. There was a bunch of recipes of people making steamed eggs. Have you ever done Chinese style steamed eggs before?
I've never done them. I've seen them.
It's weird. They're real weird. Listeners, if you have never tried it, you basically beat eggs and then add in either water, like salted water or chicken broth in like a 2-to-1 ratio. And then you steam that for like 10 minutes. And it makes a savory egg dish that is softer than a flan, but not quite as soft as a pudding. So the texture might be off-putting for people. It was definitely off-putting for my wife, who took one bite and then was like, nope, because she hates flan. She does not like flan. She does not really care for pudding. She was out. She thought it was the most disgusting thing in the world. I thought it was pretty good. But then I tried that, but then I wanted some other stuff to like put on top of that if I make that again. And then I was like, you know what's really good that I've only ever had at restaurants, but is apparently really easy to make? Congee. So I'm going to get all the stuff to make congee. And so I had to get, like some ginger and stuff to put in it. I had to get some pork floss, which I've never actually had. I've only heard tales of pork floss. Have you ever seen what pork floss looks like?
I have not.
What if lint was made out of pork and you ate it? It genuinely looks like lint. It's weird.
That's weird.
But apparently it's really good. You put it on top of your congee and then you mix it in and it kind of softens up a little bit in your rice porridge. And I don't know. I'm going to make congee for dinner. We're going to give it a try. So it was fun to go to the Asian grocer and realize this should become like a regular part of my supermarket rotation, because you can't ever just go to Aldi. So you got to go to multiple places anyway. So why not just add this to the rotation? So I'm going to keep doing it. We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Anyway, we'll move on to our main topic for today, folks. And the thing I wanted to do today, we were originally going to do so. I had a different idea, but it was going to take a little longer than I thought. So my proposition was, let's talk about kind of the state of media as we see it and what our expectations are for 2025 and kind of what we think we are interested in, what we think is going to suck, what we want to avoid, what we want to check out, and kind of go from there. So I don't know. Where do you feel like things are when it comes to the entertainment industry? I feel like it's a real mess right now. When I heard that Emilia Perez got 13 nominations to the Oscars, and I was like, that transphobic garbage was the leading Oscar winner. It won the Golden Globe over Wicked. I don't even like Wicked that much, but it shouldn't have beat Wicked. Like, what are we doing?
So I will say that on the whole, I am fairly ignorant of what is going on in terms like I'm not a film person. I watch movies that are fun and escapist.
Sure.
Same thing with like TV. When it comes to books, I read what I like to read, but like I have such a huge backlog that I'm actually a little cautious about finding a whole bunch of new stuff. So I start with that to then say, also, things are kind of grim. Like I was going through a list of stuff and there was very little I could find that should be in my wheelhouse that I was legitimately, that I can say I am excited for. There's a number of things that I could say I'm hopeful that they don't suck, but I think they might. And so that's kind of where I am. Like, it's not like I was going through this and I was trying to look at what stuff that's coming out. And again, just because there's such a huge amount of it, I was trying to focus on what's coming out that's, again, in my wheelhouse, that's in the things that I like, that I have enjoyed, that should be up my alley. And there is very little that I made it through this list and said, with the exception of some music, and thought to myself, boy, I'm really excited for this to come out. Most things were like, boy, when this comes out, I hope it doesn't suck. And then if it doesn't suck, then maybe I'll watch it or do something,
Sure. So what is in that rarefied list of things that you are genuinely excited and feeling good anticipation for this year?
So, do we want to go just like all of it, or do we want to start
Let's
with
talk
like
let's talk
movies?
films first. Let's talk movies
Let's
first.
talk movies. The only movie that I am excited to go see, that I am planning on seeing
Uh-huh.
opening weekend, if I can, is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And that is
Sure.
because, and having going back and doing this rewatch that we've been doing as a family just to kind of have fun with it, I Mission Impossible is cementing itself for me as my favorite action movie franchise, period. Full
It's
stop.
really good.
Even though the last one was a bit of a letdown for me. Dead Reckoning, I did not like nearly as much as Fallout, and I'm blanking on the names of these. The Christopher McQuarrie ones that came before, but like really, it's even the bad mission. Like I say, Mission Impossible 2, I think by far the worst. Some people would say 3. Either of those, I still think they're better than a lot of action movies I've seen in the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
And so that's literally the only movie where I'm like, yes, I will be there like opening weekend as long as I can. I'm not on call because I'm not going to go see it if there's a chance I'll get a phone call in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's fair. I still have not
But
seen
that's it.
Dead. I haven't seen Dead Reckoning because, my friend group was so down on it when they saw it. They were like, this is half a movie. This is 2 hours of a half movie, and that sucks. Also, apparently, they
Yeah.
killed a character everyone really likes, and so they're mad about that. So I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. And I haven't seen it yet, but I do plan on seeing it and then going to see the Final Reckoning beforehand. Because I think that, there's less diversity of style in the back half of the series, but I still think that
Mm-hmm.
many of them are very, very good. And Mission Impossible, that first one, still remains one of the all-time greats. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they're good, they're fun, they're imminently watchable. They have not quite jumped the shark in the way that the Fast and the Furious franchise has, which I also have, as we have talked about, a lot of affection for.
Oh, yeah. And I
But that
went
has
and
jumped the
watched.
shark.
Yeah, I've watched up to, I think, I can't remember if I saw 8 and I'm at 9 and 10, or if I got to 8. And as they do get increasingly ridiculous, they're still a ton of fun. But yeah, definitely you can see that is happening in those movies.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm excited for Mission Impossible
So
8.
I mean, really,
8?
9, 8,
8.
9,
Fallout
8.
was
Yes,
6.
Fallout was 6. You are
Okay.
correct. So, but yeah, like I'm looking at this list of movies, and that's the only one that I'm planning on seeing opening weekend. Everything else, I'm gonna need to hear how it is before I decide to spend my time and money seeing it.
That's fair. I'm going to just mention some of them and I want like gut reaction. What do
I'll
you think is going
I'll
to
tell you
happen
my
here?
gut reaction.
Captain
Yep.
America, Brave New World.
I think it's gonna suck. I
Oh,
want
it's
it to
going to
be good.
suck
I
so
want it
bad.
to harken back. I want it to bring back some of the Winter Soldier vibes. I don't think Anthony Mackie can carry the movie the way that Chris Evans carried Winter Soldier,
Mm-mm.
and I think that the Red Hulk stuff that they're going to do is going to make it suck.
Well, here's the thing. Do you know who the bad guy in that movie is, Peter?
I don't.
See? Everyone thinks it's the Red Hulk. That's not the primary antagonist of that film. It's the
Correct.
leader. The doctor from the end of Ed Norton's Incredible Hulk who gets his head
Who had
smacked.
this and has the stuff dribbling into it.
Yeah, that's the bad guy. And no one even knows he's in it. So I think
Yep.
that they're hiding. Well, and there was lots of stories about like back for reshoots, back for recuts after every test screening, and that does not bode well.
Yep. Nope. I think it's going to be real bad.
Let's see some other ones. I am excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited for Mickey 17. I've heard the book is good. I have not read it. But I really like Bong Joon-ho. I think that he makes extremely good movies. And I love when Robert Pattinson can be a little freak. And it looks like that is maximum Robert Pattinson as a little freak. So
There
I'm
you go.
excited about Mickey 17.
Okay.
Thunderbolts asterisk. Thoughts?
I want Thunderbolts to be fantastic. I want it to be great. There are so many people in it that I enjoy. There are characters in it that I have enjoyed a lot in their previous iterations. I don't know. I just don't know. I liked the teaser trailer, whatever that I saw. It didn't give me there weren't red flags going off all over the place.
Yeah.
I will say this. I am far more looking forward to Thunderbolts asterisk than I am Captain America.
Yeah.
I have hope that Thunderbolts could be a good movie. I don't have hope that Captain America will be a good movie.
Unfortunately true. I see that the same day Mission Impossible's due out, there's the live action Lilo and Stitch. You want to know what I bet sucks? A live action version of Lilo and Stitch, because every single live action Disney movie is worse than its animated version and 3 times as long. Why are we doing this?
Yep.
Make a good movie.
Yeah.
So too, the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon. What are we doing? That movie came out 3 years ago. Why are you making a live action version of a movie that came out 3 years ago?
Yeah, nobody needs that.
Nobody needs it. I saw that. I didn't even know they were making a 4th Jurassic World movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's in post-prod already? We're giving Scarlett Johansson another chance at an action series, apparently?
Yeah, we will see what happens, because I thought that the first Jurassic World movie was stupid fun. I thought the second was bad, and I never saw the third.
I thought the first was bad, so I never saw the second or third.
Oh, I mean, it was bad. I just thought it was I still had fun watching it.
And then later on, in July, we have the Battle of Titans. At least they're separated by a couple of weeks. July 11th, Superman, James Gunn's Superman. And July 25th, we have Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Are you excited? I guess you're not eager to see either of those because they weren't on your list of one.
Well, so here's what I'll tell you. We talked briefly about Superman Legacy when the trailer came out. It looked good, and then it got too crowded. And I am one of those people who, again, and I think we mentioned this, I liked some of the things that James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that he was able to make things work in a way that I was a little doubtful they were going to, but at the same time, I don't love them the way a lot of people do. And so I have the fact that he's attached to this doesn't do anything for me. And the trailer just started to look so crowded and so I will see Superman Legacy at some point, but I do not I will have to hear really, really good things from voices that I trust to go see that one in the movie theater.
Yeah, same. And Fantastic Four, I expect to be a mess. I read the leaked plot line, and we all know leaks are suspect.
Yeah.
But if that's what that movie is, well, it's not going to be good.
I like a number of the people involved. I like Pedro Pascal. I like Vanessa Kirby. I think it would be interesting. At the same time, I have no affection for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
In terms of comics, I always thought that they were dopey, and so I never went back and read any of them. And the movies that have been out thus far, I have only seen, I think I maybe saw the second one with the Silver Surfer, but not enough that I remember absolutely anything about it. Yeah. And so I have no affection for the Fantastic Four as a team. And so it will be one of those where I will definitely, again, I will see it, but it may end up being something where I see it when it shows up on Disney Plus, unless I hear really, really good things about it.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I still have never seen Ant-Man 3.
It's fine.
Yeah, but it's also bad.
Funny. There are parts of it that are funny. But yeah, it was a mess. In a lot of ways, it's a mess of a movie.
Yeah. The only other things I want to mention that are coming out this year, here's one I know is going to be bad because of who you cast in it. Tron Ares. So
I have written down in my little prep thing for Tron Ares. Look, I love the original Tron movie, flaws and all. Hell.
Same.
I freaking love, there's still a lot that I love about Tron Legacy. It is an eminently watchable movie, if for no other reason than the soundtrack and the visuals are just absolutely stellar. And then you have to go and you have to put Jared Leto in it, and I could not give less of a shit.
Absolutely.
In fact, I give negative shits. I would suck that shit back up inside me because he's involved.
Absolutely. I'm so like it is such a non-starter to me to have him be the lead of your movie. Like
Yeah.
we all know I'm a weirdo about Madam Web, even though it is a very bad movie. I will eventually watch all three of those Venom movies and probably have a good time and be a weirdo about those. I hear the Craven movie is just as bad as Madam Web. I'll probably watch it at some point. You know what's not on that list though? It's
I'm
never
not watching
Morbin
Morbius.
time. It's never Morbin time for this kid. Not one time.
Nope. There's a reason we have never even suggested that as a show to watch for the podcast.
Not even once.
Like, I'll watch Madam Web again multiple times before I will go and watch Morbius.
Yeah, it sucks. Why'd they put him in Tron? Okay. It's terrible.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on to a different genre. What else are things you want to talk about?
So those are all the movies. There's a few things. I don't know. We want to move to like television shows.
Sure, let's talk TV.
Okay. Daredevil Born Again. I was hesitant, and then I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, good Lord, at least they're not dialing it back.
I watched those bones stick through a man's arm.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, more violent than last time. Okay.
So I am interested. Again, I have not gone back. I still haven't seen Loki season 2. I didn't ever see Echo. I haven't seen any of this stuff, but the trailer for Daredevil did intrigue me because I like Vincent D'Onofrio. I thought he was great as the Kingpin. I think that, and of course, now that I got here, I can't remember his name. Who's the guy who plays Matt Murdock?
You know, I probably could have told you till you put me on the spot too. God damn it.
I know.
What is his name? He's British.
I'm glad it's not just me.
He's British.
It's not just me. Anyway, Charlie Cox.
That's
there we
it.
go. It just came to me.
There you
I
go.
like him. I have enjoyed him, and so I'm interested. I'm interested. Do you want me just to run down my list of?
I will say, if you got an evening or a weekend day, you should just watch Echo. It's like 2.5 hours. It's like 5 episodes long. It's not that long. It's pretty good. Vincent D'Onofrio is very good in it. And you could knock it out in an evening. It's really good.
Here, I'll run down the list. If there are ones on here that you're
Please.
interested, tell me, and then let's have you run your list.
Please.
I don't know if this even has a date, but I'm interested in the idea of a spider noir. I think it has potential.
I do think he's far too old.
I think they'll do something with it, but
I hope so.
You know,
I hope so.
it could be interesting.
He seems too old. I want it to be good. I am an unabashed Nicolas Cage fan. I want it to be good, but
yeah,
we'll see.
This one, it actually did release, but I haven't watched it yet, and that is Mythic Quest Season 4 on Apple TV Plus. I really enjoyed Seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Mythic Quest. If you haven't watched them, even, they're fun.
That's the It's Always Sunny guys, right?
It is. So it's the Rob McElhenney. He is the head of a video game studio, and really a lot of the tension is him. And then I can't remember the actor's name, but he came up with the idea. She did all the coding and actually designed it. And it's a fun. It's funny. It has a lot of heart to it, and it is not. It doesn't hesitate to take some well-deserved stabs at the video game industry, while still not trying to like run it up the flagpole, but like take some jabs while at the same time saying, hey, you know, video games have value. It doesn't try and shit all over the idea of the video game industry, but it doesn't shy away from pointing out some of the issues with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I need to watch Mythic Quest Season 4.
Sure.
A couple other ones, and you're going to see a trend here. And one of these are both things that have not been given dates, but are in production to potentially be released this year. And that is a Neuromancer series and a Murderbot series on Apple TV Plus. Now,
They're making okay. I love Neuromancer. I don't know if they'll be able to do it or not.
Here's what I would say. The reason I am hopeful is, do you have an Apple TV Plus subscription, Eden?
No, I find those things yo-hoing across the 7 seas because I just downloaded Severance because Severance season 2 started and everyone's like, yo, Severance is so good. And I was like, let's see. And I haven't gotten to it yet, but I haven't downloaded.
So here's what I will say. I think out of all the streaming services right now, when it comes to TV stuff, Apple TV Plus has the best hit ratio. And
Here's the thing. I've heard
especially,
this from a lot of people, and I think the problem is they have the best hit ratio, and then there's nothing else on the surface. So that's why nobody
well,
subscribes, because you can't, there's not 9 seasons of Office slop on there for them to watch in between the great seasons of the good shows that come out.
you are correct. Although I think they're doing here's the thing. I have it in part because we've got Apple Music and I've got a whole family on Apple on iCloud. And so realistically, doing the Apple One Premier bundle that includes Apple TV Plus and everything was either cost equal or saved me like $5 a month.
Sure.
And so I go for it. But when it comes to the sci-fi stuff, and I'm a sci-fi fan, there is no streaming service. Nobody is doing anything nearly as good as Apple TV is.
Yeah.
I mean, like Foundation was far better than it had any right to be. The second season, better than the first. It looks absolutely incredible. I mean, you're watching Foundation and it's like, this looks freaking amazing. I haven't gotten around to watching it, but again, tons of people whose opinions I trust because I follow a lot of what they do. Dark Matter's really good. Just a bunch of stuff on Apple TV Plus. And so the fact that they are doing a Neuromancer series and a Murderbot series, I'm like, okay, if we're going to get some kind of trippy sci-fi, if there's anybody who has shown over the last few years to have a good handle on that, it is the folks at Apple TV Plus, which it's a couple of Sony executives that they stole away from Sony Pictures. And so that's the stuff I'm most interested in when it comes to TV. What about you? Anything there you want to add in?
I mean, don't get it twisted. Andor season 2. Do I think it will be as good as Andor season 1? Absolutely not. But I think it'll be good.
I still need to watch Andor season 1. That's why I forgot about Andor season 2.
My God in heaven, it's the best thing Star Wars has ever done.
That's what I've heard more than once. So
it's so good. It's really, really good. I really recommend it. But yeah, I'm definitely pumped about Andor season 2. That is the biggest thing that I am excited about when it comes to TV. Have we talked about GQuuuuuuX at all on this podcast?
No.
The new Gundam show that just got announced?
No, we have not.
First of all, it's called GQuuuuuuX, which is spelled GQuuuuuuuX. Don't worry about it. Why are there 6 X's? Because they're stupid. It looks like it's going to be the weirdest show. And I'm very curious to see how it works, because this is a show that is specifically and explicitly an alternate history version of the original Gundam show. Because the original Gundam show starts with Char Aznable breaking into Side 7 to try to steal the Gundam. And Amuro Ray gets in the murder machine and murders a kajillion people instead. And that is what happens at the very start of the very first episode of Gundam. Is Amuro Ray gets in the robot, kills a lot of guys, the White Devil rises, and that's where Gundam starts. This show posits, what happens if Char pulled it off? What happens if Char Aznable got his hands on the Gundam? And that means Earth Federation loses that war. Zeon wins that war, because the only reason they won that war is because Amuro Ray got in the robot. And so then it is set like 5 years after that, in a world where Zeon won the war. Char has disappeared in the Gundam. And then there is this weird, and it is the ugliest Gundam I have ever seen. The GQuuuuuuX is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. You should look it up. It's got like weird crescents instead of feet. Instead of like a normal V-fin, it's got this weird red thing that clamps down on its face when it's not in psycho mode. It's weird looking because it's designed by the guy who designed the Avas, not by a guy who designs Gundams. So it looks like a Gundam and an Ava had a weird, lumpy baby. And I'm very curious. And the character designs are out of this world. They all look like characters from the Pokemon anime. They're like the weirdest and cutest that characters have ever looked in a Gundam show, while the robots look like weird creatures that are going to come to life and grow like mouths like an Eva and then chomp on stuff. It's weird. The vibes seem extremely weird about the show, but I'm excited about it. I hope it's good. They did what they did with Witch from Mercury, where they put like the first 3 or 4 episodes into a theatrical cut and then released it in theaters in Japan a week or 2 ago. And that is going to be coming to the States at the end of February. And I'm hoping it'll come close enough that I can go see it, because I think it's going to be like a one-night showing is all. We'll see.
Sure.
Hopefully my Marcus Theater gets it, but we'll see. But I am excited about GQuuuuuuX, even if I do think that all of the mechs are hideous. And I don't know about that stupid name. I'm still excited about it. And that's kind of it. Like, the outside of, you mentioned Daredevil, I'm excited about Daredevil. I liked Daredevil. I like the idea of Daredevil Born Again, even though you shouldn't call it Born Again, because you already adapted Born Again in season 3 of the Netflix show. Whatever. It's fine. Sometimes you invoke a title without invoking a storyline. It's fine. The other Disney Plus shows all sound kind of mid, though. Like, I fucking hate Wonder Man. Why would I want to watch a TV show about Wonder Man? Guy sucks worse than anyone else. Why would I want to watch a show about
no interest whatsoever?
Why are you making a show about Wonder Man? Simon Williams, the most sauceless superhero on the planet. What are we doing? Anyway, we'll see. Ironheart was the worst part of Black Panther 2. Why would I watch a show about her?
Yep, sadly.
But hey, maybe Daredevil's good. And that's kind of TV for me. There's not a whole lot I'm excited about.
Yeah, me either. Video games. Do we want to talk video games?
Let us talk video games. That's maybe a place where something interesting might happen.
Yeah, I'll give you my quick rundown, because there's not a lot. GTA 6.
It's not coming out this year.
If I had literally ever, they say it is.
No,
maybe if I had
it's February 26th.
Ever, is that what they're saying now?
No, they're saying this year it'll be February 26th. Okay. These guys always delay their games.
I know.
Also, their games suck. Here's the thing.
If I had ever played a GTA game, maybe I'd be excited, but it's a big one. Doom, The Dark Ages. Cool. Looks cool. I'll probably play it in 3 to 5 years when I do everything else.
Yeah.
Avowed, it's an Obsidian game. I will buy it when it comes out. Will I play it when it comes out? Probably not. But because it's Obsidian and I trust them, and they're probably, in my opinion, the best storyteller video game studio out there.
Yeah.
Or at least one of. I will get it when it comes out. Assassin's Creed Shadows. After Odyssey, this would have been a pre-order, day one, ready to go. After Valhalla and Mirage, this is I'll get it when it's on a Steam sale.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the setting. I kind of like the idea of 2 protagonists, but Valhalla burned me enough that when I tried to get into play Mirage, I kind of bounced off it after about 3 to 5 hours, somewhere in that range. I'd still like to get back to it, but nothing about it was grabbing me. And so for Shadows, I'm kind of like, we'll see. And then the final thing I'm going to mention, the Nintendo Switch 2. Considering how much time I spent as a child lusting over my friends' NES and SNES machines when I was told we have Nintendo at home, and the Nintendo at home was a sad Atari 5200 with a collection of clearance sale games, I should be fully in on the Nintendo Switch. I should be embracing the fact that as an adult, I can have whatever video game system I want whenever the hell I want it. I have the Switch OLED in my office. It has sat behind my computer monitor for years. I can't get into, I don't dig Mario anymore. Only Mario game I like that has Mario in the name, Mario Kart. Hell of a lot of fun to play with my kids when they're up here for Thanksgiving or Christmas or something. And so I'll have a new Nintendo Switch 2 for that reason and that reason only. But I hear people just going gaga over Nintendo Switch and Nintendo's games and Zelda this and all this, that kind of the other. And I'm just like, whatever. I just not that interested.
Yeah.
I'll own it because I can, and because I want to play Mario Kart, whatever the next version of Mario Kart, I will want to play it with my adult kids when they're here, because that's a lot of fun, and that is all I will ever use that machine for.
Yeah, I probably won't buy it. We have a Switch, and Cassie will grab it off of its stand maybe once a year, play Stardew Valley for a week, and then it will go back on its thing, and she won't touch it again for a year. It's a waste
Yeah.
of space and money in our house. So I strongly doubt that we would get the Switch 2.
Like I said, I will get it because it will be a fun thing to do with my adult children.
That makes sense.
And that's it.
I am excited about Avowed. I will give it a try because I really like both Pillars of Eternity games. And especially if I renew my subscription to Game Pass to play this ding dang Indiana Jones game, well then Avowed's just
True.
right there,
It'll
baby.
be there.
So
It is.
I will play that probably. I hope I will stick with it. I really like you said, I think Obsidian is very good storytelling. And I've spent my years in the Skyrim mines. I can play a first person fantasy game. I played a lot of Oblivion. I don't know if this one will be good or not. I'm excited for it though. I am really surprised how excited I am for the weird French game Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Expedition 33, which is it's a turn-based RPG, party-based RPG in a weird like world where some goddess demon woman paints a number on a rock and then everyone who was that old dies. And they have set out, and every year they send out an expedition to try to stop her, and every year they fail. And this year, you're the expedition. So you're all being sent to fight against some demon goddess who is on some weird... It's weird. It's a really weird looking
cool,
game.
Though.
You should look up trailers. It looks really cool. It looks like a very cool party turn-based RPG that also has like active time battle elements, kind of like a Final Fantasy. And it just looks extremely stylish. And so I'm really excited about that game. And also, again, it's already a day one on Game Pass. They have that like secured. They're like, this is going to be on Game Pass. So I'll play it because it'll be on Game Pass. And I'm interested in it. That's late April. I think that's coming out.
Cool.
There is a new Atelier game coming out. Atelier Yumiya. I know they say Atelier in the series. I'm not going to deal with it. That was the most jarring thing in the world when I was playing Atelier Sophie for the first time. And she says, come to my Atelier. And I'm like, that's not how you say the word Atelier, girl. I don't care. I don't care if Bandai Namco said that's how we say the word Atelier in Bandai Namco world. It's Atelier. Stop saying Atelier. But regardless, the new Atelier game comes out. And that too is having a big shift in that it's the first time it is a real-time game instead of a turn-based game. And it is a huge, they looked like so many game studios. They looked at Breath of the Wild and said, God damn it, should we do one of those? And they're doing one of those. It's an enormous open world game with real-time combat instead of weird, discrete little forest levels you go to and bang some things in turn-based mode for a while. So I'm really curious to see how Atelier Yumiya turns out because I like the Atelier games and I want that one to be good. And those are the big ones I'm looking forward to. Like, I don't care about Civ 7. I thought Civ 7 or Civ 6 was worse than Civ 5.
See, and I imagine I will buy Civ 7 aspirationally because I had stayed away from all of the Civilization games until I happened to find at a used game store the CD-ROM of oh gosh, I'm blanking on it now. Alpha Centauri.
Oh, sure.
So I found Alpha Centauri, started playing that, fell in love with that, then started playing Civ 3 and then Civ 4, and then just never got back around to playing any of them, but I'm a sucker and so I get them. So knowing myself, at some point I will be like, oh yeah, you're going to get into Civ 7 and I'm going to get it, and then I'm never going to play it ever.
Happens. Yeah, I'm not excited about that one. Oh, one that it in theory might come out this year, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it is another year out, is the sequel to Greedfall. I really liked Greedfall a lot.
I keep meaning to play that game.
It's if you liked Mass Effect and you want what if weird Mass Effect in fake colonial America, you should play Greedfall. It's interesting.
That's what I heard.
I like it. In theory, the new one should be out soon. It's in early access, but apparently it's really bad in early access and everybody's like, this game sucks. So I'm going to wait until it is out of early access and then see where we go from there. But
Yeah,
sometimes
good call.
the French make a good video game. I really liked that first one.
Cool.
I just saw a list that said Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 might come out this year. You are the dumbest person alive if you think Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is coming out ever. That
I was
game
just gonna
is
say
never
It's
coming
never
out.
coming out.
It and the KOTOR sequel are both on the this game is never coming out pile. Never.
Agreed.
Anyway, you said
All
you
right.
wanted to mention
Should I
some
give you
music.
Yeah, I'm going to give a quick rundown on music. The
Yeah.
first few here, we have release dates, so we know they're coming out. Very much looking forward to the new Dawn of Solace album, Affliction Vortex. They're kind of a gothic rock mixed with a little bit of death metal. Love all three of the previous albums. Very pumped. Lacuna Coil, Sleepless Empire. I liked Lacuna Coil a lot when Comalies came out. Then I fell off them for a number of years. Saw them live, and then their last album, which I'm blanking on the title, came out and was so good that I am pretty excited for Sleepless Empire. I like Lacuna Coil. I dig Christina Scabbia's voice. I think Lacuna Coil was one of the pioneers in that kind of harsh vocals, harsh male vocals, clean female vocal thing that is now almost too common. But Lacuna Coil, here's what I'll say. Even if I don't love all their albums, that is a band that has put in the work. They have worked hard for many years to establish what they do, and I respect the hell out of that.
Look, one of these bands had a poster on your wall in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1. And that's Lacuna Coil.
Right.
Nightwish isn't on the wall there. Lacuna Coil's on the wall in your apartment in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline.
That's because they were very gothic sounding. They were cool. Spirit Box, Tsunami Sea. That comes out, I think, end of February, early March. I love Spirit Box. I am not a big metalcore fan. Something about the Spirit Box particular metalcore formula, I really love them. Seeing them in May with my oldest children down in Salt Lake. And so, yeah, very excited for some new Spirit Box. And then we're going to get into kind of my little, here's ones that have been announced as these bands all say they're working on an album, hopefully for release this year, but we don't know. We've got the thrash metal, here's the quadrangle of thrash metal, Testament. They have a new album coming out. Testament, my favorite thrash metal band. I will take them over Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer every single day of the week. Exodus reports say they are working on a new album that may come out this year. Interestingly, a week or two ago, they announced that Zetro Souza is out. Rob Dukes is back in as the vocalist. I like Gary Holt's the guitarist and he writes the music, and so it's going to kick ass no matter what. But I like the 3 albums that Rob Dukes did. I like his vocal style a lot more than Zetro. So I am excited for more Exodus with Rob on the vocals. Anthrax claims after like 8 or 9 years, they finally got a new album coming out. I still like Anthrax. They're not my favorite, but I like Anthrax a lot. Speaking of thrash, Death Angel, supposedly another Bay Area thrash band. They're supposedly working on another album for this year. And then finally, a couple others. Black Braid 3 is coming out at some point this year. I really like Black Braids 1 and 2. Very cool, kind of, First Peoples American music mixed with black metal that has a harsh edge to it. Really neat stuff. Looking forward to 3. If it's at all as good as 1 and 2, it'll be a great album. Mastodon is supposed to have a new album coming out potentially this year. Again, hushed and grim. Really liked it more than I thought I would, especially for a long 90-minute album. And so I am excited to hear what Mastodon's doing. Did you ever hear their single with Lamb of God that came out last year?
No, I never did.
It's pretty cool. It's very interesting. You kind of goes back and forth where it's like, okay, this feels like a Mastodon song in there. You're like, oh wait, this feels more like a Lamb of God song. Oh wait. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is supposed to potentially have a new album out this year. I love Paradise Lost. So we'll see. We'll see which ones land. But there's definitely some music on the horizon that I am really excited for.
That's interesting. I'm not going to lie. I forgot to think about music or look up music at all. But you know what I am excited about? The new Rebecca Black album comes out on the 27th.
Oh, there you go.
Here's the thing. I know Friday sucks. I have fondness for Friday because we were all alive in 2014 and all laughed at that girl. And then she's put out some of the best hyperpop I've ever heard in my fucking life. Let Her
I
Burn
have heard that.
is such a good album. So I am very
I haven't
excited
ever listened
for more.
to it, but I have heard that. I have heard that. And
Let Her
I
Burn
think it's
slaps. It's so good.
Yeah. Hey,
So-
look, she was able to overcome the Friday, the curse of that song. I mean, she got
truly
real
did.
popular from it for all the wrong reasons. If she was able to survive that and thrive, then more power to her.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for a new album. If I guess it's an EP, I'll take an EP. I'd rather have an LP, but we take what we can get.
Love it.
And I think that's it. We're a little over an hour. This was a good conversation. I think that hopefully the things that are coming out this year that we hope are good are good. And
But I think you'll notice, listeners, maybe with the exception of me in the music section, there's not a lot we're really that hopeful for.
No.
That's a sign. That's like that's a big commentary on where things are at.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things where we're like, it's on the list to see how does it actually turn out. But yeah, I think that's a little rough. It was a rough realization as I was looking at the list.
Indeed. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully talking about something that was good. It's probably not something that just came out, but it'll be something that was good, hopefully. Yeah, leave us a review or some stars if you feel so inclined. You can always reach out to us at feedback@themiddleofculture.com. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Talk to you then.
Sounds good. Bye.